Alright, let's pick up where we left off. I was working on this bank website, so I decided the theme is gonna be a bank. And here's what it looks like at the moment. Let me put these side by side. Alright, so yeah, we have this here. We've got our sort of responsive navigation here. If we open up full screen, we get a different nav. Got some buttons here that really don't lead anywhere, but maybe we'll create a separate page for the other stuff. I included latest news. We don't have the footer yet. I plan on making another section besides latest news, and maybe we'll do the sign up page and the login. Sign up and login. I think we might make that like could be the same page somehow, where we could switch from sign up to login. I don't know if that's possible, but we'll try it. And then I also want to make this look a little bit better, so I might start with this. Make this look maybe right align it or something. But let's check out what we did so far. So for the menu, I went with, here we have a header, we've got our hamburger. The hamburger only shows at this screen size, and this menu disappears at that same screen size. So here's the nav. It only appears when I click this now, and I've got it set to display flex direction column. So instead of going left to right, it goes top to bottom. We got the info menu and the user area all pretty much jumbled together like this, but they are technically two separate unordered lists. Right, careers, help, and contact is one unordered list, and these two are a different unordered list, but they have no margin or padding, so it kind of looks like one large list right now. Okay, but remember here it's like two separate lists. But that's the beauty of display flex. You get to change the flex direction, so you could pretty much change like the whole look of it just through the CSS without having to modify the HTML and recreate like a different menu for mobile and desktop. It's all the same HTML, just the CSS is what changes everything. Alright, but we're not done yet. We need to figure out how to make this look a little cleaner. I think I would like it to drop down from just the right side and maybe be right aligned to like about here. But let me see how I can do that. First, I gotta figure out where everything is. So the A, the LI, the UL. Let's give them all background colors so we know exactly how big they are. So for the A's, let's say background color. Let's put this bisque color. And don't forget, I'm using SCSS, so I always have to click watch Sass when I first open it. Otherwise, it's not going to update the CSS file, which is what matters. Right. So here's what the A's look like if I put that background color on them. You can see that's how big the actual link is that you can click on. The rest of it, I guess the LI, let's give that a different background color, see what that looks like. Let's do this chartreuse. I guess the LIs, maybe if I give them padding, might be able to see them. Yeah, so the LIs are really nothing. They're pretty much covered by the A. And then there's the UL, which let's put a background color on that. Put crimson, let's say. So pretty much the entire thing is the UL. So we gotta figure out how to push these a little bit this way. Now it's already display flex, justify content center. So that's probably what we need to change. Maybe justify content. So instead of right, you have to say flex end, but it didn't change anything. I think I tried this last class. It didn't change anything. Not sure why. Let's see. We don't have margin auto on anything. We flex end. Not doing anything for us. Let me try. What else could we do? It might be just because it's flex direction column. Right, where did I make it flex direction column? Up here. So that's probably what we need to change. Position absolute with 100%. Sorry, that's the nav. The UL flex direction column. Oh, I see. When you make something flex direction column, the justify content and align items kind of get switched. So I think I have to change through here, not here. So maybe align items. Flex end might do something. Yeah, okay, yeah, they get switched around. So normally I would use justify content to align things horizontally like this, like push to the right or the left. But since it's in a column, we have to use align items. Kind of weird, but that's what happens. So that's good, but let's now give them a little bit of space so they're not all the way up there, they're kind of here instead. Let me see if I could, let's see. Maybe I could, let's just add maybe padding on the right side. Okay, so let's do padding. So, focus nav, flex direction column. I should try to maybe put all this stuff. I have this unordered list being affected through here, but also through here. But this is the one that's when we focus on this. So maybe I should put all the styles here. Yeah. Okay, let's take this align items flex end. Put it under here. Not that it's gonna make a difference, but just wanna be in the right place. The width 100%. We don't have any padding, so I'll just add padding up here. Padding right. Say 100 pixels. Okay, so that pushed it a little bit, but I think we need to push it even more. Actually, depends on the screen size. So here it looks fine, but as we make it bigger, it gets closer to the right side. So maybe I should use a percentage. Padding right, maybe 10%. I think we could do a little bit more, like 15%. Okay, I think 15% is in a good spot. Now let me get rid of those background colors. I don't need them anymore, so get rid of that, get rid of that LI padding, that crimson, and that bisque background. So back to this. Also, I don't need the whole menu to be this big, the UL. Right now it has that width of 100%, but maybe I could just make it like a fixed width. Or let's go down to 50%, see how that looks. Um, put a background color on it after doing that. So now it's here. Then make sure align items is flex end on the navigation. There we go. Okay, so and then we don't need this background color, which I think is part of, what is that part of? Yeah, so this white here, we don't need it. Just leave it empty somehow. I think it's part of the header itself. So how to stop that from happening? Right. It is. Let me just double check. Oh no, it's not the header. If it was, it would have turned red. Okay, so it's not the header. Then what is it? Is it the nav? Could be the nav. I know somewhere when I focused, yeah, I said focus nav background color white. So that's probably what we need to remove. So this white background color, I'm gonna take it out. That just leaves the background color on that, which instead of this color, let's just make it white. And 50% is half the page, but doesn't need to be that big. I think a fixed width of, I don't know, like 200 pixels might be good enough. $200 pixels, but then kind of looks weird. Let's do 200 pixels width, but is it position absolute? No. Let me try position absolute. See what that does. Okay, that makes it go all the way up there. Let's do position absolute, but top 0 and see what that does. Okay. The thing is, I have two different unordered lists, so they're kind of both on top of each other. So one of them I have to like push below the other one, but I think it might be just easier if instead of doing position absolute, I do position relative, and then just move it a little bit to the left. So just say right, I don't know, like 100 pixels. Just moves a little bit that way. We don't need the padding so much if we're gonna push it to the left like that. So that padding I just added earlier, where is it? Up here maybe. Padding right, 15%. Maybe get rid of that now. And the width of that 200 might be too much like this, or we still need a little bit of padding on it. So let me put padding, right, about like 20 pixels. So I should put that here. 20 pixels, 40 pixels, let's do 20. 20 and change the width of that instead of 200, make it like 150. I know I'm jumping back and forth on a lot of these styles, but I'm just modifying it till it looks good. Here we don't want this to be like this, so I gotta make sure all that I did is not under here. So make sure I take this out. Also the position relative, right 100, take all that out. Make sure we put it in the right place. So not under nav UL, but under hamburger focus nav UL. That's where it really belongs. So here it should stay normal. That background color I have on it, the white, get rid of that maybe because it doesn't need to be there. So I think that's because I also put the white background here instead of only under when I hover or focus. So it should be here instead. So no background here, but it does have a white background here. Also, we could make this hamburger button, like, it's not a big deal, but when I move this left and right, like I resize this thing moves this way and that way because it's being controlled by display flex. And then we did space between or space evenly, so it's just being evenly spaced from the sides, just like the logo here. But this one is actually just pretty much stuck to the right side. It doesn't really move from there. So what you could do is make that hamburger button position absolute and have it like stay put if that bothers you. Let me see if we could do that real quick. So the hamburger button, display none. Let's see. Let's make it position. Actually, not here. Let's go down to the media query where we make it visible because here it's display none. So let's go to here and let's add position absolute. That kind of breaks stuff now because it lifted it out of its normal document flow. So it's kind of worried that would happen. So we could put right, what is it, 150 pixels. Just have it stay there on the right side. But now we need to give that whole navigation a little bit of height. Right, so now it stays along with this one. It doesn't move this way and that way. But since it's like position absolute, the navigation is ignoring it and like it's not taking into account its height. So we could just put a fixed height on the nav if that's a problem. Say height 70 pixels, 100 pixels. No. Wait, we don't want that under focus. I should put that somewhere else. Here. If I don't put the height, this is normal. When I do put the height, okay, so adding a height does something weird. Maybe not the nav, but the header then. So the header doesn't have a height either. So let's just put this height on the header. There we go. Okay, so it's too much. Let's bring it down to 70. Still a little too much. Let's bring it to 60. 50. Okay, 50 is good. Alright, I think I'll make this go a little bit more to the right. So instead of right 150 pixels, let's do right, try 100 pixels. Yeah, okay, 100's good too. And then this could animate, look a little bit smoother. Instead of popping out like this, have it slide down. Although for that to work, we'd have to modify the way it pops out. So I'm using display none to display block, so I guess we can't really animate that. We could animate the button like we did before, the hamburger turning into an X, and then put some kind of placeholder on top of it so we could click it to close it. We did that before, but I don't know, it'll feel like deja vu if we do it again. It might be too much work. So yeah, I feel like we've done this before, the same exact situation. I'll just leave it now to keep it simple. Maybe I'll put a placeholder on top of this just so that we can click on it to close it. Right now when I click this, nothing happens. So we need something on top of this. So basically we need above the hamburger another div, call it class equals invisible close. So invisible close button will be placed on top of that basically. It's causing this to happen right now, but that's because it's taking up one of the columns. I think, what could we do with that? Maybe if I make it position absolute, it won't cause any problems. So invisible close button. Just make sure it's spelled exactly the same way. Copy, paste. Position absolute. Cool. So now it's not causing that issue anymore since it's absolute. Remember, it's like a ghost now. It's picked up off of the document. Okay, now we just have to position that right exactly where the hamburger button is. So it should have the same height as the hamburger button. I'm guessing that's height 50 pixels. Give it a width of 40 pixels. That's the width of the hamburger button. Let's put a background color on it so we can see it. Okay, it's over here right now, as you can see. So we need to bring that all the way here. So I'll just put the same right. What did I do on the hamburger? I gave it a right of 100 pixels. So same right 100 pixels will go on the invisible button. Now it's placed right there. Need to make sure when it does appear that when I click on it, I click on the invisible close button, not the hamburger button. Let me change the color here. Yeah, it's behind the hamburger, so I need to make it come in front of it. I could probably just do that by placing it instead of, okay, not here, but in the HTML. Instead of putting it before the hamburger button, put it after the hamburger button, or I could just mess with the Z index, but this is probably more simple. So now when I try to click the hamburger button, I can't. I'm clicking this thing. So I'll make it so that it's invisible by default. Display none. And it will only be visible when I click the hamburger button. So hamburger button and focus. For the nav, we'll make it display flex. But the other sibling, because technically now the hamburger button is a sibling, so is the invisible. I mean the hamburger button, the invisible close button, and the nav are all children of header, so they're siblings. So I could use the sibling selector here. Sorry, that squiggly line. It was a plus sign, but I'm gonna switch to the squiggly line because I think now the nav is not a direct sibling. It's not an adjacent sibling. We have the hamburger, we have invisible button, and then we have nav. So since there's something between them, I can't use the squiggly. I can't use the plus sign. I have to use the squiggly line. But I could say another and focus and colon focus. And this time I could use the squiggly line, I mean the plus sign, because now I'm trying to target the invisible button, which is actually an adjacent sibling. It's directly after the hamburger button. So it's kind of doesn't matter. I could use that or I could use the tilde. So when we focus on that, I want the invisible close button to have display lock. So to come back basically. So it's not there now, but when I click the hamburger, it comes back. I click it again. I can close the menu because I'm actually clicking the invisible button, which is not invisible at the moment, but it will be if I just get rid of the background color that I put on it. So now we can click this to close it, unlike before. That makes sense. I did this before, but I know it's confusing. Basically, I have to make an invisible div that comes on top of there, and it only appears when you click on it, and then it goes away when you close it. So we're using focus for that. Okay. Oops. Alright, so I'm satisfied with that. We could do more to it, like make it form an X, but I think that's extra right now. We'll do that later if we have time. What we need to focus on, I think, add a footer. Yeah, we definitely should add a footer after this, and also I wanted to add another section with possibly a carousel or slideshow. So let's do that. So back to the HTML since we're adding content, right? We don't really usually come back to the HTML unless we're adding new content. So footer is empty at the moment, but that should come after main. And here we'll just put a bunch of random buttons, like probably all the stuff from up here should be down there in in our menu. So careers, help, contact. Might as well copy these two unordered lists. And just paste it in the footer. So now they're in the footer as well. Let's put some padding around them. Yeah, so let me add some more buttons before I add padding. I'll have the info menu, the user stuff, but let's add another unordered list. Just put some other random buttons like, I don't know. Partners, locations. What else? Um, investors. Random stuff that sounds like it would belong in a bank. Okay. So I got three of them, but let's make them into three columns. So I guess the whole footer will do display. We could do flex, doesn't have to be grid. Do flex or grid. Yeah, because even if we make the screen really small, I think three columns is still good. So I'll do flex. So go here to the CSS, scroll all the way to the bottom after the whole main section. This whole thing is header actually, and then this is main. And after main, might want to leave some comments. So we could say // Now we're at footer. And let's go up to here. Here's main. Everything above that is header. Right, so and then this is just like extra setup stuff. Right, we have our place where we defined our CSS variables, our CSS reset, and then just some body stuff. So header, all of that is header, main. Now we're at footer. So footer, display, flex. That probably is all we need. Just display flex. Okay, I guess that's not all we need. We need display flex and justify content. Space evenly. And maybe get rid of those bullets and change the colors and all that. So footer UL should be list style type none to get rid of the bullets. And then the A's inside the LIs should be color #FFF. Unless we decide to make that whole footer a different color. Right now it's, what color is it? It doesn't have a background color. That's just the background color of the body at the moment. So I put main color on the body background. Except it's covered with white, so we never see it till down there. Kind of probably could get rid of that, since I'm not really using it. Now it's white, so let's go back to footer and actually put a background color. Background color, let's do var dash dash main dark. See how that looks. Cool. I do need some padding on there as well on the footer. And actually, I do need another container because I want to add the copyright thing. Copyright something something. So maybe we should, instead of putting all this directly in the footer like this, I'll put another div here. Put all this inside that div. And then below the div is where I'll add the little copyright thing. So maybe inside a paragraph. Oops. Why is it capital? So and copy 2022 Skynet Incorporation. Okay, something like that. Okay, so right now it's here. That's because I made footer display flex, but since I added the div inside the footer, that's actually what's going to be display flex, not the footer. So this div will be the one that's display flex. Justify content space evenly. And then the Skynet Incorporated will be on the next line. So I could probably do text align center on the whole thing. And add a bunch of padding. And add some padding to the div as well. And make that Skynet thing also color white. Okay. I think that's good. And if you really want, you could get rid of the text decoration on those buttons if you don't want them to be underlined. Okay, so simple, quick footer right there. Right, looking a little bit better. Let's add that third section. So again, we're adding content. So after the first, or what is this, the second section? After this section, let's add another section. And in here, this is where I'll probably put some kind of slideshow with some random, let's get examples again. Bank site examples. Let's just click one of these and see what they have. Maybe something like this, like financial products that fit your style, or I already have a news section. Ours doesn't have pictures though. Alliant. Yeah, why choose Alliant? Maybe something like this. Just some logos of some companies with little quotes reviewing it. Or what's this? I guess this is like news, so recent articles. I already have that. I think this is simple, so I'll do this. Why choose Skynet? Let's say. So we'll have an H. Make it a H1. Why choose Skybank? And below that, we'll have a div. Um, this will be the gallery, so I'll say class equals slideshow container. Save us a little bit of work. Maybe we could just copy paste the slideshow that we already have. But no, that might not. It won't be that simple because I also need the CSS along with it. But basically, let's look at what we had for HTML. It's just okay. So for um, the slideshow, we have a slideshow container, and inside there we've got divs for each slide, and then each div has an image. Yeah. So let me. No, I'm not gonna copy this because those are pictures. I want to do this one a little bit different. So we're still gonna have the slideshow container, but inside there, we're still gonna have divs with class equals slide. But inside is not just gonna be an image. We're gonna have like an image as well as a little quote. And if we could use a paragraph for quotes, but there's actually should be a semantic tag for it, the Q tag, I think. But let's look at the proper tag to use. HTML quotes. So we could use block quote if you have like a big quote. You can use the Q if it's a shorter quote. And what does it do for you though? I mean, let's try both. Let's do a Q and let's put lorem 20 in there. And then let's do a block quote. And I'll put lorem 50 in there. I want to see what they look like. So the one that's a Q, the Q tag, actually puts quotes around it. You can see here it added quotes on both sides. The block quote didn't really do anything. It's just like a regular paragraph. So I guess it's up to us to style it using the CSS. By default, they don't do much. The Q adds quotes. That's about it though. So I'll probably just use the Qs and then yeah, I'll just use the Q and style it. Yeah, so the only difference is this is short quotation and it does have quotes around it. This one defines a section from quoted from another source, but like a bigger block quote. So let's delete the block quote. Just stick with the Q tag. Okay. Now we're gonna have like maybe 3 of them. So why choose Skybank will be at the top center, and then each quote will have to come from like a different company like this. Maybe we'll put a picture of different company logos, and then the quote right below it, just like these. Let me close that slideshow. Close that one. Okay, so let's do copy paste, paste. So there's 3 of them. I want to have one extra and see if we could kind of make it slide to the left, and then I don't know how that's gonna work though, because if we only have 3, I gotta use Illustrator to sort of imagine this. I don't know if it's possible. So say we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. If we're gonna cycle through these, like on the page, it's gonna have to go like this, and then somehow this one's gonna have to come here. I guess it's possible. I don't see why not. So it'll go like that, and then whichever one is here has to come back here. So if this goes here, this one will move from there to there, and then this will come here, and then this one will go here, and this one, yeah, it could work. I don't see why we can't do this. So I'll do something like this with the little quotes below it. We'll have a little quote, some kind of a logo above it. Pretend that's the logos. Yeah, okay, so that's the plan. That's what I'm trying to do here. See if we can execute it. So 1, 2, 3, and we need a 4th one. Okay, so 4 slides. Let's put different random text in each one. So lorem 15. They don't need to be that long. They're short quotes. Lorem 10. Lorem 8. Oops. This one can be lorem 12. Actually, let me do this. do lorem 50 or yeah, lorem 50. And I'm just gonna take this and break it up. So I don't want it all to say lorem ipsum. So I'll cut the second sentence out of this one. Where's the period though? I don't see. Let's make that comma a period and take this, cut it out, paste it here, and then take this one, cut it out, paste it here. And let's just put a random period somewhere here. Break this one up. So maybe here I'll put a period. Take this part and cut it and paste it here. Oops. Okay, so they don't look all exactly the same. They're not all saying lorem ipsum in the beginning. And for those images, we gotta find some random logos to put in there. So we copy these. I'm gonna make a images folder in our project for these icons. So here we'll just paste or save these images. So Newsweek, save image as CNBC, save image as. That saves us some time. I don't have to look for different logos. I'll just use those. Say source equals images / that one. This one, source equals images / CNBC. Source equals images / Newsweek. And which one am I missing? Got one, two, oh, this one. Images / this one. Okay, let's check it out. Alright, so here's what it looks like now. It's just a mess, but we're gonna make it into a probably a flex. No, maybe not a flex container, because I need to be able to move things around. They're gonna be lined up left to right, but I wanna, once I move it to the left, I want it to like go around and stuff. So I don't know if we could use display flex. I think the best way to do it is maybe with display grid, because then I could use grid column to move things from one spot to another. Let's see. I'll think about it. Or I could just not use display grid or flex and just keep it inline block with some padding between them and a fixed width. Trying to think here. If we did display inline block, there would have to be a container around the whole thing that they fit into. like a fixed size, and that's gonna be a problem if it's fixed size. Yeah, it's gonna be harder than I thought though, because then what if I make the screen smaller and it has to become 2 columns instead of 3? Um, it's a tough one. If I make it display grid, again, I could use grid column to say this one should be grid column. Like, remember, grid column works like this. You got these lines between the columns. So if I say grid column, one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I say grid column 4/5 on this one, I could make it go be the last column. But actually, we'll probably have it like this, where the last column will be outside of the container, meaning we're gonna have to make it beyond 100% of the browser. I don't know. It's it's a tough one. Or maybe I could say just make it 3 columns and then make one of these, whichever one is last. But I don't know how we're gonna figure that out, like which one should be out there. Basically take that one and make it position absolute and like just pull it out. Uh I think I'm just gonna dive right into it and see what I could come up with. I'm not able to brainstorm anything right now. Yeah, let's see. I'll start with the grid theory. So I think maybe grid is my best chance here. So for that grid container, or a slideshow container, which is inside this last section, let's call this section class equals section 3, whatever. Because I think I called the other one section 2 and section 1. So might as well call it, I call this one top section 2, whatever, call this one section 3. So section 3 slideshow container is what we need to target here. And it's gonna be inside main after section 2, so put it here, dot section 3 dash 3. So it has a grid container, and that's what we need to make display grid template columns 1fr 1fr 1fr. Oh, it's a slideshow container. Okay, so slideshow container will be display grid. So now we have 1, 2, 3. The last one is on the next row. That might be helpful as well. The last one on the next row. Actually, no, it definitely has to go to the right because we're gonna make this move. So how can we do this? Let's make sure the image is in here. So we have slide. Let me put that after this. Dot slide. Um, Nothing yet for the slides, but the image inside the slide, make sure it has a width of, let's give them all fixed width of like 100 pixels. Okay, so it's a little bit smaller. Also, we want them on top of the quote, not next to it. So maybe each slide display flex direction, column, flex direction column. Let's also do align items center to center the logo. Make sure they have padding. Make sure the quotes and the logos have padding. 10 pixels. The quotes could be a little bit smaller, so Q, font size, 1 rem looks like that, so let's do a little bit smaller than that. 0.9 rem. Okay, this H1, let's center that because it's kind of bothering the way it's just there at the moment. So H1, text align center. And font size 3 rem or 5 rem. Oh, is that not a H1? Maybe it's a H2. Nope, it's definitely an H1. I don't know why. Oh, font size. Oops. Okay, 5 is too big. 3. And I think I'm gonna put a different background color on the whole section just because I don't know. I wanted to show that it's different section than the other one. So background color. See, I used these variables, but I'm not really making use of them too much. I should probably bring those variables in. Dot section 3. Background color. Var dash dash mainlight. How come it didn't do anything? Var dash dash. Oh, because I made mainlight white. I forgot. Oh, well. Let me give it a tiny bit of color, like maybe this light orange. Yeah, because I also used it on this text over here, but not much else. But I think that's good. I'll use that. Okay, so back to section 3. Let's give it a little bit more padding. Okay, so why choose Skybank? Because these things, um, picture with the quote. I'm gonna actually want to space the pictures and quotes apart evenly. I don't like how it's kind of like a stairway going down like this. So one way to do that might be to give each of these a fixed height. So for each slide, make it have a height of, I don't know, like 200 pixels. Let me put a background color on them so we can see. All right, so let's also give each of the images the same height. But I don't want to actually make the picture taller though. I just want to make the space that it takes up taller. So what I probably need to do now is put those images inside a div. So I can make the div bigger, but leave the image alone. So each image I'll wrap with a div. Or you could just make them all the same height. But I don't know, some of them are like wide, like Bankrate might be too tall. Just the text might be too wide when you make it taller. So instead, I'm just gonna put a div around all of them. And then I'm gonna give that div a height. So that div, if you want, you could put a class on it, like so. Call it class equals company logo. So I'm putting that company logo class on all of those divs that are wrapping the images. Just so you're clear. Now, instead of just an image, I got this div around the image that has a class of company logo. Right, so that way I could put a height on it. So I could say dot company logo, make them all the same height of, let's say, 100 pixels. Oops. This could go inside this. Right, so now they all have that same height. So they push the image, the text down the same amount. I could put a background color of something on there so we could see what that actually looks like. So there's the div around the actual logo. Also, the text are not exactly the same height, so I kind of have too much. Like the difference between this one and these is a lot. Maybe I should take out some of the text here, but if you wanted to keep it like longer text, shorter text, Um, what could we do? Maybe just give that quote a height too. I'm gonna just remove some of the text to make this easier. Okay, looks better. Except for this one. What's going on here? This one is overlapping with the logo. I guess because I made the logo have a certain width. This is a really tall image, so it didn't work out for this one. Well, now that I put a div there, maybe I could make those divs just a square and then force the image to fit in that square. So height and width of 100 pixels on that company logo. And then for the image, just say max width 100%, max height 100%. See what that does. Yeah, that works, I think. Okay, so let me get rid of that background color. We don't need to see it anymore. Let me get rid of this background color. Back to looking like this. Maybe for each slide, I could put like a white background. Background color, FFF. And also this bank rate is kind of high up there. Let me see if I could center it better. So for company logo, have a height 100 pixels, width 100 pixels. I think for images, since they're inline elements, if you want to center it inside the box, I believe we could put a line height equal to the height. That should fix it. Did that come down a little bit? I think it did. Yeah, it definitely came down a little bit. So it's a little bit more centered inside there. Okay, so why choose Skybank? Some quotes. I want to make bank rate a little bit bigger. It's like this. Here it looks good because big. Here it's kind of tiny. Let's do a width of 150 pixels. And then the height, I don't think needs to be so tall. Let's do like a um, max height. I don't know if that's gonna work. Max height 100 pixels. I don't put a height on there. That kind of works too. No, we definitely need a height there. Okay, so this is the hard part. How do we make this a slideshow? So this one that's like down here could be off the page, and then wait for its turn to slide in, and then while these go out, this one makes its way around. We need a way to mark one of them as the last slide, so I don't know how to do that. I have to like take turns being that one slide. Maybe through an animation we could make it happen. So I'm gonna try. Let's do add keyframes. Um, Carousel. We'll go 0%. We got 4 of them, so around 25% something should happen. Or it could happen immediately. Let's say from 0% to 5%. Maybe that's what we move. I don't know, but let's take a break because this one's gonna take some thinking, and I don't want to make you guys watch me like try to figure it out. Might have to do 2 separate animations, like one on the whole container. No, that wouldn't make sense. But yeah, let's take a break. Gonna pause the recording. Yeah, so if if we were able to animate grid column, this would look nice, but now it's just jumping and shuffling each logo. Also, we see all 4 of them. Not sure exactly how to make one of them stick out, but like off the page. But let's see what we could do. Let's maybe give this no padding because I added a bunch of padding to that section. I should probably take it out. Just at least leave the top, but not the sides. Section 3. 50 pixels, 0. Didn't really change much. The slide itself has padding, that's not a problem. Am I watching SAS? Yeah. Just put 0, see if that helps. No, okay, so I don't know what this padding's not disappearing. Let me make sure we know where we're getting that padding from. Yeah, it's from the whole section 3, I believe. It's got padding around it. So I'm not getting rid of the 50 pixel padding for some reason. So class section 3. Should be 0 on the sides with 50 pixels 0, but it's still there. So I might have padding somewhere else. Nope, I don't have it really anywhere else, so I don't know why it's not going away. We could give the slideshow container a width of 100%, see if that fixes it. Nope. What else? Section 3. It's got the main light background color, padding. Just gonna put 0 there just to avoid any confusion. It's got 0 padding. It's not updating. I might have to reopen this. Okay, no change there. Okay, for the slideshow container, I want it to be bigger than this. So maybe a width of like 150 pixels, or not 150%, I mean. But nothing's changing. It almost seems like Live SAS compiler is not running, although it says that it's watching. So it should be working. I'm not getting any errors, so I'm not sure what the deal is here. Let's make an obvious change, see if something changes. Save. Slide background color. Okay, it's definitely not updating. Oh, we must have some kind of error somewhere. Oh, here it is. Okay, it's because I added this animation and I didn't actually put anything into it. Okay, there we go. Got rid of the padding. Padding, we could keep it 50 pixels on the top and bottom. Just add 0 on the sides. And then to force one of them out, so we only see 3 at a time, we need to make this whole slideshow container bigger than the window here. Or maybe I could say, maybe include in the animation, like whenever our slide is like at the end here, so 4 out of 5, meaning it's in the last column, we could say maybe turn it into position absolute at that point. So position absolute. I think that kind of worked. Then we gotta make sure we bring it back though. So while it's 4 over 5, it'll be position absolute, but the rest of the time should be position relative or something. And also whenever it is position absolute, let's make sure it's like completely off the page. So left 100%. And then when it's position relative, bring it to left 0. But yeah, this is never gonna actually, oh, what's going on there? It's sort of animating. I didn't expect that, but I don't know if that's what we want. But at least we have some animation. But I really did not expect that. Okay, let's put a stop to that. Alright, so yeah, one of them's always going to be sticking outside. So we should probably do overflow hidden on this slideshow container so we don't really see it. Cool. Oh, we still see it. Make sure the slideshow container itself is position relative. I think we don't have that. So yeah, we don't have the horizontal scroll bar anymore, so that's good. So now we're just seeing like the logos kind of switching around. So CNBC should go here now. Yeah, and then this one comes here and then it should go there. So it's gonna cycle through. Bankrate is now here. And then it's here and then it should go there. It's sort of doing what I want. It's not exactly what I wanted, but I don't think it's possible to get what I exactly wanted. If we could animate the grid column property, that would be great, but it doesn't really animate. Anyways, there might be a better solution. Just you have to be creative and think of how to solve the problem here. But the way I'm doing it is this specifically for 4 images, because we're seeing 3 at a time. So 3 of them from 0% to 75%, right? 25% each. We're gonna be seeing it. Or sorry, we're gonna see it from here to here. So whenever it's 4 out of 5, it's like off the page. So that's the part where we don't see it. So from 0% to 24%, right in the beginning of the animation, our slide is going to be off the page. So it's going to have a grid column of 4 out of 5, and we're only seeing 3 of them, right? So 1, 2, and 3. The one that's 4 out of 5, 4 over 5 for the column is this one, where it's in the, so we're counting from here, 1, 2, 3. So one of them is going to be 4 over 5. That's the last column. You're not going to see that from 0% to 24%. And then right at 25%, that's when it jumps back in, basically becomes 3 over 4, which is over here. Right, it stays there until 49. And then at 50%, it jumps to the middle, 2 over 3. So 1, 3, or 1, 2, 3. So 2 over 3 is the middle one. And then at 75% goes to the first one. So goes to 1 over 2 at 75%. It stays there till 100%. Maybe I should add, I don't know if that's gonna help, but keep it there till 100%. Although that shouldn't make too much of a difference. Kind of makes it look a little smoother, the animation, keeping the 100% there. Yeah, so these two just like flash. I mean, this one disappears, and then this one just jumps there. But at least the last one slides in, sort of. Right, it slides in from the right side. So it kind of makes it look a little bit like a carousel. Yeah, but I think that's the best I could do. That's using some brainstorming and some creativity. That's what I came up with. So I'll share this with you if you want to look at how I did it. But I encourage you to try to find better solution where it's actually maybe sliding. Kind of like remember the thing we did for the other site example? We had a marquee at the top. Maybe you could do a marquee. You'll just have to have repeating elements. Actually, that probably would have been much smarter, easier solution than what I just did. Could just make a marquee that, um, yeah, that probably would have been so much smarter. So make the whole thing a marquee, but you're gonna have to have basically double the content. Let me just here. Let's put these next to each other. So I could have done this. Now that I think about it, could have been just like the marquee. So we would have had, let's say, there's 4 things here. But maybe we're just seeing like 3 at a time, right? And then I could have had this like slide all the way, basically all the way here with like duplicates of these. So this would have worked too. I could have had an animation that does this. It starts off here. So from 0% left, I don't know, I guess you have to figure out the percentage, left 0. And then, see, it starts with the green, pink, blue, and it would have to end with the green, pink, blue. You'd see the orange for a second there, and then once it gets there, it could just restart basically. So it would go there and then just jump back to the beginning. You wouldn't notice it. It would look seamless because it's just going to restart the same way it started. So I should have done that instead of all this weird stuff. Right, but maybe I'll fix it later. Let's think about what else we need. Let me put some padding on this H1 here. Let's put padding on the bottom at least. Padding bottom, 20 pixels. Okay, and let's just add let's do the sign up and the client login page. So that will have to be a separate page. We haven't done this much, but creating a separate page just means creating a new HTML file. So we have our index.html. If we want to create another page, create a new page. Let's call it signup.html. Exclamation tab. Now, if we want this to have the same style sheet as the other one, we could link to the same style sheet, but I don't know if we're gonna have any of the same styles on the new page. We'll probably, well, we still need the same header on there, so I'll do this. I'll link to the CSS again. So basically, we need to copy the whole header part. So I could just go to here and copy everything from up here down to the end of the header. Actually, why don't I just I'll just copy everything from the top all the way down to where the header ends. So the closing tag of the header. I'm gonna copy that and just paste it here. I'll paste it right here, but then don't forget to close the body and the HTML. So if we look at the sign up page, this is what it looks like. It still has our menu at the top. We still have our working navigation. And then if we want to click this to go to the other page, you just have to make sure here where we click sign up it's just gonna point to that sign up.html. Also make sure this is not only on the sign up page header, but also the index.html. Since I copy pasted it, make sure it's on both. Okay, and then let's open it, and when we click sign up, it should take us to this page. Let's make the Skybank logo the home page button. So we could make that logo that we put up here, make it a link tag. Let's say href equals index.html. Copy that, make sure it's on both headers. So let's check it out. If we go here, I need to get rid of the underline, but when I click it, it takes me to the home page. If I click sign up, I go here. I click Skybank, I go back here. Okay. But yeah, let's get rid of the underline real quick before we forget. So on the header, I'll just say header A text decoration. If you're gonna take off all text decoration off all links, you could include that in this reset part where we do margin 0, padding 0. Maybe one of the things you want is for any links, A tags, you want text decoration none. So maybe you could just add text decoration none here. I don't know if that'll apply or if we have to be more specific. Looks like it applies. So you just do that and no link will have underlines. Okay, so what should we include on the sign up page? We need a form, so thanks for joining or something. Welcome, thanks for joining. And then a form with a bunch of inputs. Right, but which we fixed this the correct way, but everything else I think on the home page is okay. We could say we're done with it. There's a few minor things I might change in there, like make that turn into an X and fix this carousel. Just do a marquee style carousel like we did before. So it'll slide to the left. The footer looks good. We also want to copy the footer to this page, sign up page. So let me also copy that. So let's go to index.html, go down to the footer, copy the footer, and paste it here. And then we'll have a main here, which will have our form. So maybe here I'll just say h1 sign up. Maybe an h2 here. We're glad you have decided to join us. I'll make that an h3, and then before that h2, I'll make a h2 that just says welcome. So h1 sign up, h2 welcome, h3 we're glad you decided to join us. And then below that we'll have a form, but let me just put a form tag here. The form tag for sure is gonna have input type equals submit. Gonna need a submit button at the bottom, and then of course input type equals text. Placeholder equals full name. Another one, type email. Placeholder equals email. Another one, input type equals password. Placeholder equals password. And maybe a confirm password. So full name, email, password, confirm password, submit. I think that's enough for now. Alright, so there it is, the full name, email, password, confirm password, submit. And our footer, welcome, we're glad you decided to join us. Sign up. We need to push stuff down a little bit. Sign up is like way up there. I'm not sure how come we didn't have that issue here. Oh, because I didn't really have content there. It's just this giant picture here. So we do need to add a little bit of padding up there, push this content down. So for main, and also if you don't want to like put all your CSS in one file, you could also create like a second CSS file just for the sign up page. So I don't know if you want to do that, but it's an option because this CSS has gotten pretty long. Got already 275 lines of CSS for all of this stuff. You could probably do like a separate CSS just for the header. Kind of break it up into pieces. Why don't we do that? I'm gonna break up my CSS because it's getting a little too long. Plus, if you ever use like something like React or Angular, these JavaScript libraries that help you build pages, you're probably gonna have to separate the CSS in those. Or each component is gonna have its own like styles grouped with it, so this makes sense to do. So here's my link currently for, or no, where is it? This one is my CSS link. And it's styles.css. Gonna create a new one. It's called this header.css or SCSS. And I'm gonna take this entire header area. So it's good that I commented all this because I can just grab from here to here and cut it out. Just paste it here into header.css. And then in my index.html, I'm also gonna add a link here to header.css. So same with footer. I'm gonna take out the whole footer. I'm gonna cut that out. I'm gonna create a new CSS file called footer.css. Let's make it footer.css. Paste all of this footer CSS in here. Oh, and this animation, And cut that animation out. I'll keep that in just styles.css, the main one. So we have footer CSS, header CSS, and just styles.css. Make sure you link to all three of them. So styles.css, header, footer, and then for the sign up page, it's gonna have the same links. So make sure you add all three links for that one too. This one's gonna have an extra one though. We're gonna have link. Let me just copy one of these. We should have a new style sheet just for sign up. So I'll create another link to signup.css. So that means in my CSS folder, I'm going to create another, call it signup.scss. And here we'll put our styles for the sign up page. So on the sign up page, we have our main with a form. We have main h1, h2, h3 form. So main. I don't need to specify main. I'll just say for the h1 text align center. So for the h2 and the h3, I'm gonna make those all centered. For the h1, let's make the font size like 3 rem, pretty big. And let's put a bunch of padding on top of it, because right now it's behind the header. So padding top, say like 100 pixels. Oops. Okay, so sign up, welcome. We're glad you decided to join us. This form that we have here, I want the I don't want it inline, so we'll say for the form display, let's do flex and flex direction column. Cool. I don't want them to be that big. They're stretching across the whole thing. So we'll say form input with, say 200 pixels should be enough. Okay, so we got sign up, welcome. We're glad you decided to join us. And our form here, we want to center the form. So margin auto, or you could that didn't really work, did it? Margin auto did not center our form. Maybe it did. It's actually the inputs that are not centered. So yeah, you need the margin auto on the inputs to center them. But yeah, I think that's the best way. And then I want to make these forms a lot bigger. They're kind of tiny. So for the input, let's say font size 2 rem. That's good, decent size. Let's make them have padding, let's say like 5 pixels inside each box. Just give it a little bit of padding. What else? I don't like the borders on them. The default style kind of looks ugly. Also, since I made them 2 rem, I'm gonna change the width to like 300 pixels. Okay, and give them a little bit of padding between them. So, or margin. So instead of margin auto, I'll say margin like 10 pixels auto. Border none. Background color. I don't know if we could use the variables from the other CSS file. I think we can. Var dash dash main color. Yeah, we could still use those. But I don't want to use main color. Let's do main light. I'm gonna bring this down to like 1.7 RAM. Like 2 is too much. Maybe even 1.5. The padding, like, keep that 5 pixels, but the margin, I'll bring it down to 5 pixels. Okay, and then around these, we need some more space. We're glad you decided to join us. Welcome. So maybe before, below the H1, I put padding top 100 pixels. I want padding top and bottom 100 pixels, so 100 pixels, 0. Or sorry, 0, 100 pixels. And just padding, not padding top. So it was 100 pixels, 0. Yeah. So 100 pixels above and below. Actually, below it, that's too much. So I'll do 100 pixels, 0, 50 pixels, 0. That's better. For the H2 and the H3, actually, I could just put it here. Padding 20 pixels. Say 10 pixels. Okay. For this one, the H3, padding bottom an extra, like, I don't know, 40 pixels. Okay, so the submit button, I want a different color than the other inputs. Also, why can't I click it? I can't submit right now. Maybe because I don't. abcd@email.com. Oh yeah, it does let me submit. I just don't have any like hover effect, so it doesn't look like I'm clicking it. So I'll have to add in hovers and stuff. So for the inputs, I'll say input. Remember, if you use square brackets, you could say like type equals submit to just target the input that has a type of submit. Or was it? Yeah, I think that's right. So input type equals submit. Let's put background color var dash dash main dark. And then for the color, actually let's just make it main color. Main color. And color hashtag FFF for white. Give it border radius if you want to round those corners a little bit. 20 pixels, more than enough. Give that form some padding. What else? I'm gonna put a border top on the form, 2 pixels solid. Uh, yeah. If I put some padding on main, I could probably say padding 50 pixels. So there's like some padding there. And also add some padding away from the footer. Um, the welcome should be a lot bigger too, so H2. Let's go like 2 RAM. Make this one 4. That one 2. Maybe add like a paragraph here saying fill out the form below to begin setting up your account. So include the paragraph in here for the text align center. And then for that border above the form, I think I'd like to change the color to 2 pixels solid var dash dash main light. Or main color. Right, and then I think this needs a little bit more padding. At least the form should have some margin on top of it. It's too close to this. So margin top 20 pixels. Okay, so Skybank, we click sign up, brings us here. We could fill out the form. It won't let you submit unless you actually does it let you submit? I think it's still submitting, it's refreshing the page. But if we fill this out and don't put in the correct format for the email, it's not gonna let us. It just wants you to put it at something.com. We could also make it so when we click submit, it takes us to another page, like sign up complete or something. Check your email for verification, things like that. Let me add a hover over submit button and also an active and all that. So input type submit. Let's say and colon hover color or background color becomes var dash dash main dark. And then when we actually click on it, so and colon active, we'll change the background color to var dash dash main or a secondary color maybe. We haven't really been using our secondary color. Yeah, so now we get some action when I click on it and hover over it. Alright, at this point, it's still 9, so we have plenty of time to add more to this. I know you guys haven't been able to probably follow along because I'm doing a lot and very little time. But I will share this with you, and then you'll have like 3 full lab days tomorrow. And what's tomorrow? Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday will be lab day, unless you want to switch Thursday and Friday, because right now it's Thursday and Wednesday lab day, and Friday is going to be a lecture. But if you want, we could switch those so you don't have a lecture on Friday. Instead, you'll have lab day. Up to you guys. There's also one more lab day on Monday, so that's the 3rd lab day. You want Thursday and Friday? Um, lecture for Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday lab. Yeah, we could do that. So instead of lab tomorrow, we could have another lecture. Any questions other than that? Like anything here that you guys were confused by? I would like to fix this though. It's alright, but not really. I want to do what I said I would do, which is make it like the marquee, just scrolling to the left continuously. Should be pretty easy to do. I just didn't think about it too much. So I'll have to go to styles.scss, find that animation, and modify it. So all this is going to do is go from left 0 to left 100%. Oops. From to left 100%. So the entire slide, I guess we could leave it on a position relative. Oh, why is this one only moving? Oh, because I put the delays. Yeah, since I put a delay, they're taking turns moving to the right, doing some weird stuff. But that's because I have all these nth childs here. I don't need these anymore. I don't need any delays. I just need this to be on all of them, not just the first one. So now all the slides have animation carousel 20 seconds, 0-second infinite. I should make sure they're linear so this spreading apart thing doesn't happen. I don't know why it's only the last one that's doing that, but it's probably because I don't know why it's because of, but I'll do linear here. Why is that one moving different speed? Shouldn't be doing that. They should all be the same size. Oh, it's because I put one FR, one F. So one of them is like kind of out of place, but I do want to keep it that way. Just 3 of them showing at a time. And then position relative, overflow hidden. I guess I have to keep it as 4 columns and then do something else so that doesn't happen. So I am gonna need duplicates though if I'm gonna do this method. So on index.html for these slides, not recent articles, these slides, I'm gonna have to have extra slides. So slideshow container, copy all of these, slide. All except for, no, I'll keep all of them. So duplicate of all of them. And then what? I actually need to do 2 separate ones, so not the same slideshow container, because I'm gonna apply different animation to one group and then add a delay to the other one. I think that's what I have to do. Or no, I could just put them all in the same container. But how would I make it restart the way it's supposed to? Because it'll go there and then just jump back to the beginning. So what am I doing wrong here? So copy all these, paste it so we have extras, and then yeah, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know why they're moving different speeds, but let's see. Okay. Let's do a repeat 8 times 1FR. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But how can we make it so we see 4 at a time or 3 at a time? And while that's scrolling, I want to scroll the other direction, so maybe I'll do right 0 and right 100%. So it goes this way. And then let's make the whole slideshow container have a width of 200 VW, so twice as wide as the actual viewport. And then we gotta do something about this. I don't want to be able to scroll there, but at least this is looking good. So we just have to put overflow hidden, I think, somewhere. Probably the section flow, at least the overflow X, which is the horizontal overflow. Make that hidden. Okay, perfect. Except that it didn't really, it's not going as smooth as I want. Probably because I'm doing left 100%, which is not enough. I have to probably do like left 400%, I think. Because 100%, I think, represents the width of just one of these. So, right, let's do 400%. Okay, it's moving faster, of course. But let's see if it's smooth. So far, so good. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, cool. That worked out. Nice. That one's fixed. Might as well fix the hamburger button and just put in everything else I can think of. So this should not take too long. I already did the other part, which is creating the invisible button that we click on. So now I just need to animate the X with those hamburger icons. So with the three spans. So that would be, oh yeah, we created a separate header.scss, so I should go here. Okay, so when we click on hamburger, we focus on it. We want the spans inside. I'm probably gonna have to add another end focus. Yeah. And focus. Maybe put this after these. Here before this one. So there's span or after, and focus span. Right. Here's the regular span. Here's the focused span. Let's make sure they're position relative. So we can use top, left, bottom, and stuff. And then when I focus on them, I want the span colon nth dash child 1 first. Let's make that one transform rotate z -45 degrees. Span nth child 2. It's not gonna rotate, but it's gonna leave, so left 100%. Maybe 150% just to be sure. And then span colon nth dash child 3 will transform rotate z, but -45 degrees. So they're all gonna have to start off position relative top 0, left 0. I'm gonna transform translate, rotate z 45 degrees. Maybe start off transform rotate z 0 degrees. So this one will rotate that way. This one will leave from 0% to 150%. Also need to move these down a little bit. So this one top, I don't know yet, but let's start with like 10 pixels. And then this one, nth child 3 top, -10 pixels. Let me see what happens. Okay. Not quite. So I think it needs to move a little more down. So maybe 13 pixels instead of 10. Not quite. Should go to 15. 15 is too much, so it's probably 14. Okay, 14 is good for the X. The other one leaves, that's good. Now, if you want to transition it, you can. We don't have to, but might be nice. Let's also put overflow hidden so we don't see that middle one. Alright, so if you wanted to animate it, just do a transition. Transition. 0.3 seconds. Oh, transition all 0.3 seconds. Alright, and that ought to be good enough. Right, it does the little animation, changes into an X. If you wanted to, look a little smoother, you could add the delays and stuff. You could say transition top, I don't know, 0.3 seconds. Let's see, this is, remember, when you have transitions, you could transition both ways. So going from this to focus. So this would actually be the return. So end focus, this is where the transition is turning into an X. So when it's turning into an X, we could say what should we do? Do I have to put it on each one separately? I'll just do it on them separately. I'll say transition for the top. So when we're going from the hamburger to the X, first we'll move it down. So top 0.3 seconds with a 0 second delay. And then we'll rotate it. So I forgot, do we add a comma here or just type rotate? Transition, top 0.3 seconds, 0 seconds. And then for rotate, another 0.3 seconds, but with the 15-second delay. Let me see if I did that right. Probably not. Let me put a comma there. I'll double check. I always forget if we need a comma or not. But top. Oh, sorry. There's not a rotate. It's a transform. Oops. That's why. Yeah. Okay. So it's working. We need the comma. So first it comes down and then it rotates. I'll do the same with the third one. So first it'll come down and then it'll rotate after a slight delay. But back here, when it's going back to a hamburger, it will be the opposite. So instead of this one having 0 seconds, this will have the or the 0.15 delay, and then the transform will have 0 seconds. And if you want to show the middle one sliding out, you could add the delay to that one too. So this middle one, where's my, yeah, so here we could say transition. This one's just moving, so we'll just say transition left, 0.3 seconds. Actually, we could put that. We could add that here, comma, left, 0.3 seconds. Okay, so there we go. That's good. So now we have a nice looking hamburger button here. This doesn't slide out itself because I'm switching from display. What am I doing there? Whatever I'm doing there, I couldn't animate it because I'm not animating like the height anymore. Before, when I did this, I animated the height. I could make it slide out. I could do that, but honestly, it's just don't feel like it. We've already done it before. I don't know if it's necessary to have that sliding out, but it would involve going to see, it's in the header, so we'd have to do something with the nav. It's right now it's display flex, and when we hover over or when we focus on the hamburger button, it becomes display flex but flex direction column. Also, at a certain size, it has display. What are we looking at here? Yeah, so at a certain size, it's display none, and then when we make it bigger, it becomes display block or display flex. Where is it? Keep losing it. Okay. I guess we could just do this. We could say for the nav, not here, but where is it? Here. Or maybe here. Yeah, so where I put display none for the nav, this is for the nav. It's hard to tell, but there's nav again. All this is for nav. And this is also for nav. I wonder if I could organize this to make it look a little easier to follow. What can I do there? Media screen. Maybe just take all of this and move it. Oh no, this is all. Yeah, no, it's not. This is hamburger. All that is hamburger. It's hamburger focus. There's the span in the hamburger. This hamburger focus again. Media query. Logo. Nav. I guess I can't really do nothing about that. It's kind of confusing, but whatever. So here at max width 900 pixels, let's put height 0, overflow hidden. So maybe we could animate this. We could say transition height 0.3 seconds. Okay, so it's now we need to make it go from height 0 to something else. So that's when we focus. That's where we have to go back to now this one. So when we focus on the hamburger, we want the nav height to go from 0 to, I don't know, 200 pixels. However tall it needs to be. 200 is too little, so let's do instead of a height, let's do a max height. We'll do like really big, like 600 pixels. Go back down here, change this to max height. There we go. Oh, it's not animating though, is it? Max height 0. Transition max height. I thought that would work. Didn't work. Transition. Do transition all. 1 second. Yeah, it's not working. So maybe you can't transition max height. I thought you could. Or maybe it's because I put 0 and not 0 pixels. Nope. Transition all. Yeah, so unfortunately it doesn't work. I thought I could just do that, but it's not working. I thought for sure that would work, but nope. Wait, Dolly, you said you want the file before the marquee? What do you mean? I already added the marquee.
Yeah, we thought that, I'll suggested if you could send us the file before you modified it to a marquee.
Why you want to challenge yourself to do it yourself?
Yeah, for future reference.
Well, you could always delete it and try to do it from scratch.
That's fine. I could just watch the video again.
Okay, because the way I did it before didn't really make any sense. I was switching the grid column, but you can't animate switching grid columns, so this is much better, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, the only thing I want to fix before I send it to you is have this slide out, but it's not doing it as I expected. Oh, because I put max. What is this? Max height 600. Nothing. Okay, that shouldn't bother us. Position absolute. Top 50 pixels. Max height 600 pixels. If I do height instead of max height, let me see if that makes any difference. No, it still doesn't animate. So it's not because of the max height. What could it be from? Transition all. 1 second. It's there. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go search for nav. Make sure I don't have it anywhere else. So nav, display flex, justify content, align items. And focus nav, display flex, max height 600 pixels. Wait, why do I have just two? Oh, okay, so there's this one. And then this one. I'm kind of confused. Oh, this is here. I should pause. So forget about the animating that drop down, but what else would you guys like to see? We have our sign up page. Not much else we could add there. If we click submit, maybe we could have it take us to another page. You can do that with How about we just make it take us back to the home page when we click submit? So going to sign up.html, go to the footer, not the footer, the form. Let's add target equals index.html. I think that will take us back to the home page when we click on it now. Oh no, sorry, that opens a new tab. That's not what we need. Not the target. Action equals index.html. Yeah. So if you click submit now, because I put action equals index.html, takes us back to the home page. For client login, maybe take us to the same sign up page, but somehow change it to login. But I don't know if we could do that without JavaScript. So it might have to create a separate page. We could just copy paste the whole signup.html. So I'll create a new login.html. Or hold on, before we do that, what if I somehow we click client login, little drop down comes to fill out. That's more complicated than just creating a separate page. So yeah, I'll create a login.html. Go to the sign up page, copy everything, paste it, and just change this to login, this to welcome back. And then we could probably get rid of the extra information. We don't need full name. We just need email and password. We don't need confirm password. This could say value equals login. Right, but now we have a login page. So on all three pages, index.html, sign up, and login, you want to change this to login.html. Cool. Yeah, if we were using different technologies, we wouldn't have to repeat all of this. I could have made the header like a separate component that I could import into the other pages, but we can't really do that without extra technologies. Probably the easiest way to do that though would be to make everything a PHP file. And then just use like a PHP include. But maybe in the WordPress class we'll look at that because WordPress is made with PHP. Which every time I mention PHP to like other developers, they all say like, "Oh, it's super old." They've been saying it for years though, and people are still using it. So I don't know if you should listen to people that say PHP is outdated. People still use it. Okay, homepage, login. Now it just has welcome back, email, password, login. Takes us to the homepage. And then we have our sign up page, which looks like the login page. Oh wait, this isn't working yet. So one of these I didn't save. This should be signup.html. This is the footer though. You go up here. Oh no, it's not the footer. It's the header. Okay, why aren't we going to login on this one? This is the sign up page. So let's go to the signup.html. Make sure, yeah, login.html, login.html. And index.html. I'm not sure why it didn't work. Maybe I have to clear the history, that's why. It's not going back to this page. I might have to inspect it and do a empty cache and hard reload. But no, it's still just going to hashtag. It's weird. Empty cache reload. What's this? I saw an error. No, never mind. Okay, from the home page, I can click on login. It goes to login. From the sign up page, login doesn't go to it. So from the login page, I can go to the sign up page. From the home page, I can go to the sign up page. For some reason, though, from the sign up page, I can't go back to the login page. So it has to be a problem in the signup.html. Head. Oh, here. Okay. Login.html. I thought I did that already. Oh, it's because I was on the footer. That's why. Okay, now we can go back and forth. Login, sign up, login, homepage. Alright, it's 9:45. Let me save this. I think I left it in a good spot to share it with you, so we can do that now. Send to compressed zip folder. Let me stop recording.